I wanted to do.
Man, here go a picture of you in N.W.A. from the movie Straight Outta Compton. Now, when that movie was conceived, I know at some point in time you had to be in the initial.
No, there's a character. There's a picture of the dude who played me in the movie, in the film. Like there's a scene where they took the picture on the truck. You know the Jeep picture we had. Yeah. There's a picture from the movie with my character sitting on the. I gotta show it to you. I think I got it.
Man, yeah. Now how did you not? I know why, but we're gonna tell.
There's a couple.
I know why, but we gonna tell the audience why. This is why I'm doing this podcast, because there's some deep, dark secrets of West Coast hip hop that most people don't know anything about, and you had to have been there. You got to have a machete and a shovel to understand what we're talking about, because this stuff right here, it gets kind of deep. And again, no disrespect to any other podcast, but when the podcaster is a part of the history, it makes it a little bit different. So as he thumbs through his pictures looking for the character, wow. Oh no, yeah. I can't. You need to email me that right quick, man.
Somebody sent it to me on social.
Email me that right quick. Maybe I can pull it up before we get out of here. Yeah. Send it to Alonzo Williams. Alonzo WMS at Gmail. And we doing this. We off the cuff. We're not really live per se, but this is off the cuff because this is how we roll. Because we do it like this. This is how we've been doing it all our lives. So this podcast, this show right here is all about what happened, the original stuff that people don't know. There's a lot of stuff behind the scenes of West Coast hip hop that
Real Alonzo, that one?
That'll work.
Or that.
Either one. A lot of things behind the scenes of West Coast hip hop that if you didn't have a backstage pass, you have no idea what really transpired. So you were the first member to leave N.W.A.
Yeah.
Now, why did you leave why were you the first one to leave?
Jerry Heller. Ask me again.
Why did you leave?
Jerry Heller. Because, in the movie, and like I said, I ain't got no issue with nobody in the group. I've always been cool with everybody. If I see somebody, we cool, we talk, whatever. But I was the one that kind of hipped everybody to Jerry Heller, what he was doing.
Okay.
Because what people don't realize is, and it came out in Dre's, the thing with the Defiant Ones.
Right.
Dre actually says in Defiant Ones what funded N.W.A, and it was Supersonic.
Right.
I did Supersonic. I paid for Supersonic. Supersonic was my record before we even started putting N.W.A together.
Right.
And I had put Supersonic out on Dream Team Records first. And God rest our boy Rudy Pardee, he was a little sticky on paying for it.
A little slow
paying. And I'm like, come on, man, like this is a hot record. That thing is sold like 1 million copies or whatever.
Here's why I come into that.
Yeah.
Okay. Rudy, Unknown, and myself had formed a company called West Coast Record Distributors. Yep. And that's how we were able to release JJ Fad without going through Macola. That was one of the first singles we had through West Coast Record Distributors, and it blew up. We had Rodney O and Joe Cooley and JJ Fad. Now, both those things went through the roof immediately.
Yep.
And we grossed a shitload of money the first 6 months we were in business, which was a phenomenon within itself. But nonetheless, our egos would let us stay in business. That's another conversation.
But yeah, so I ended up taking that record back from Rudy.
Okay.
And taking it to Ruthless Records because we had just started Ruthless. And Ruthless Records used to be a family-owned business. It was like everybody shared in the wealth. Like, it wasn't easy. It wasn't Dre. It was all of us got our percentages. And we, like we pressed records, everybody got their records. You went out and sold your records, and that's how you got paid. We got some money. Everybody just got broke off.
Right.
When Jerry Heller got involved, all of that changed.
Okay.
And all the money started diverting to him. Even the money from the shows, we would go out and do shows and do a tour. We would only see the money on tour. We would never see the deposit. You know what I'm saying? Like that first half of the money that come early, we never saw that money. And I was always a fool asking questions. And the reason I asked questions, I bet you nobody ever even asked me in the group why I was always asking questions. Think about it. I was the only one who had a car payment.
Right.
I had my own apartment.
Right.
You know what I mean? I was like, I needed to get money to pay for my shit. Dre and none of them at the time lived on their own and was doing their own thing. I did, and I was a solo artist first. So I was the only one who was a solo artist, so I knew a little bit more about royalties and what was going on and when you were supposed to get paid and how you were supposed to get paid. And I kept telling everybody that, but like we say, sometimes when something's hot, people forget about the business and start just saying, oh, the parties and the fun and the touring and the traveling. But I'm like, nah, man, I need to get paid. So I went to Jerry and I was like, look, dude, I brought this record over here, Supersonic, which is blowing up. Can I get paid? And he always had an excuse on how or why I was supposed to get paid. And eventually I got tired of that, man, because I was like, dude, there's too much money to be left on the table to not get my money. You know what I mean?
You know, so, I always had my own suspicions why I was kind of ostracized.
Yeah.
Because being that I was 8 years older than everybody in the group, well, 8 years older than Dre, and contrary to what Yella's IBMD says,
I was talking about that one too.
6 years older than him, but according to him, he damn near young as you are.
Yeah.
So when I did my CBS deal, Jerry was around, but I wouldn't sign with him.
Yeah.
And I saved the crew $20,000 by not signing with him. So shortly after he met with Easy, and he realized he didn't know anything. Just like these guys today who don't know anything about the business, people take your naivete for granted, and they let you make some money, but you probably do a lot more than you have coming, but because you trust them, and that's probably what their biggest mistake was to trust in the way they did, and name on the same bank account and blah 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 blah, not really knowing business, and initially pumping him up to be the man, because it's really funny because I remember this like it was yesterday. It was always, I work for Ruthless, I work for Eric.
Yeah.
Okay, and that was the initial conversation. But as time progressed and once they were accepted, he became a partner.
There you go.
Because I remember when y'all first formed the shit at my house, everybody was gonna be equal. Equal. Easy putting up the money, Dre doing the beats.
Yep.
And everybody was gonna own a piece of Ruthless.
Yep.
Okay. And at once upon a time, there was a lawsuit to find out what was going on. I had been questioned by a couple of different lawyers, and I told them, hey man, initially they were supposed to be partners, and they stopped calling my ass. Okay. Yeah. They stopped wanting to hear from me because I was kind of telling the truth.
Yeah, and that's all it was, man. And Jerry wouldn't, reciprocate my ends, so I went and got me an attorney. And I remember walking in his office one day, introducing my attorney to him, and it was like, look, either I get paid or I'm taking Supersonic back, and I'm out, right? So he was like, he didn't want Supersonic to leave because that was all the money that was coming in right then.
Wow.
So
what happened? What about the album you guys? I see N.W.A. and the Posse.
Right, but remember, a lot of that early money, we just split up. He got involved after that, and then that's when the N.W.A. and the Posse was something that was a bootleg that freaking Don McMillan put out after we left. We never made that record. We made the EP. It was just called N.W.A. It didn't say Posse.
Oh, that's right.
He made the album.
Because Chuck Fassett ended up putting a bunch of stuff from Dr. Rock on there.
There you go.
That featured DOC. See, this is some deep shit right here, y'all.
Yeah.
This some deep
the Feeler Fresh crew.
The Feeler Fresh crew. Right.
That's a bootleg.
This is some, because you know what? I remember now because I talked to Dr. Rock not long ago. Dr. Rock was a brother that was part of the Wrecking Crew back in the day at Eve After Dark. He was a member of the Wrecking Crew when he first started off, and he moved to Texas. When he moved to Texas, he blew up. He was on the Tom Joyner Morning Show. We go to Texas to do a show. This nigga driving Rolls Royces. He driving Rolls, okay? He doing it like that. And he met DOC. DOC was a part of his group, Feeler Fresh Crew. Now, we met DOC in Texas for the first time. Dre and the Dr. Rock came back to L.A. to use my studio to do some stuff. Next thing I know, DOC was with Ruthless. I don't know the transition. I don't know what happened, but that's what happened. But I also remember Feeler Fresh Crew, the tracks that Dre did on Feeler Fresh Crew. Chuck Fassett, a member of McCullough's company, either bought the masters or did some distribution. Because I asked Dr. Rock about the publishing, and he said, "Oh, don't worry about it, man. I ain't tripping." No, that sold a lot of records. But I realized he sold the publish, he sold the masters, so he didn't have nothing coming no way. Chuck ended up having to get everything. Right. So that's how. Oh, it was an EP initially.
Yeah, it was just an EP. It was like 4 or 5 songs on there. And when we left to go do Straight Outta Compton album with Priority, he put a bunch of stuff on there and dropped the album.
Wow.
They eventually sued and took that one back and just kept selling it as N.W.A. and the Posse. But that's why I tell anybody who's got the one that just says N.W.A., that was worth money because it wasn't a bootleg. It was the real joint.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. See, now see, that's something I didn't know, but because we sitting here and we can compare notes, we now can put together a story, pieces of a story we both had.
Yeah.
That's interesting, man. I didn't know that because I just thought Priority gave you guys a shitload of money for the EP, or so I thought it was an album, and y'all blew it from there. But that's why it didn't happen like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's why that was that whole mix-up. It was going to take a while to get the big money in from Priority, and Supersonic was blowing up, and the Atco deal and all of that was about to happen. And I'm like, nah, man, I'm going to take this with me and put this back in my pocket.
Okay.
And we ended up doing a deal, me and Jerry and everybody, and I just kind of went my way. I got my money.
Okay.
I got a contract saying I get paid from, my percentage when I leave, and they kept Supersonic. And I eventually came back later and produced some of the second album. But,
you did something to dance to. I mean, people clown. I get a lot of ignorant people sometimes comment on different things that I've done. Well, when I make different comments on my post or my podcast, and they don't understand that N.W.A. because Dre was a member of World Class Wrecking Crew, he understood the importance of dance music.
Yeah, and it was radio play,
right.
and party groups.
Right. And that's why you guys did Something to Dance To and what else?
Panic Zone.
The Panic Zone,
yeah.
Okay? That was strictly Arabian Prince. That could have been a Wrecking Crew album, Egyptian Lover record. And these are on the first albums.
Yeah,
right?
and this was done seriously because we knew we couldn't get radio play from anything else. But how do you get it out there? There was no internet back then. There was no social media.
Right.
So social media was Panic Zone. Social media was something to dance to because that got the radio play that triggered people to know, hey, there's an N.W.A. album. And the fact that because me and Dre and Wrecking Crew and all of us was already big because of that type of music, it was an easy thing to help push the new style.
But people forget about that, though.
Yeah.
People forget about that. That's the part, when I talk about the whole evolution, you had to have Egyptian Lover, World Class Wrecking Crew, Bobby Jimmy and the Critters, Arabian Prince, to get to Eazy-E and N.W.A.
And the same
even N.W.A. used part of what they learned from Wrecking Crew and being a part of Egypt and Eve After Dark to propel themselves to the radio because they wasn't playing Boys in the Hood.
They weren't playing that kind of stuff.
They eventually,
same thing on the East Coast.
Okay.
You had the up-tempo, you had the Soul Sonic Forces and all of that stuff on the East Coast, and that was the ramp up to all of the hardcore and East Coast hip hop as well.
I'm trying to load this picture up while we're talking, and I can't get. I can get it in, but I can't get it to crop it.
Put it in. I bet you I could do it. Me, I'm the tech.
I know you the tech man. That's shit. I ain't the tech. I'm just the radio host. But yeah, it's and this is the whole never trying to diminish or disgrace anybody, but it's an evolution.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until the Rodney King uprising that fuck the police was really acceptable. Because up until then, they was running over shit with tractors and shit.
Right.
They was running. C. Dolores Tucker was running shit over and was proud of it. And what's his name? The vice president Al Gore.
No,
he was
Tipper Gore.
Tipper Gore's wife.
Yeah.
She was on the rag behind the shit.
We saw that on the news.
Yeah.
We was doing a show.
Now, how did y'all feel, man?
That.
How did y'all feel about that shit?
We was happy as hell because I'm like, my thought was, damn, we on the news and they just like ran over like 1,000 of our shit. Like, I mean, the kids gonna go buy it again. They gonna buy more.
Now,
and we got free press.
Now, I was talking to Atron Gregory is a good friend of mine. He was also the road manager for World Class Wrecking Crew, road manager for N.W.A.
He was Tupac's manager.
Tupac's manager, and he also discovered Digital Underground. He was telling me that the scene in the movie where you guys were in Detroit, and got ran off by the police, said that was him at that thing in real life. But I think they had Jerry Heller in there. Yeah,
well, they had Jerry Heller in a couple scenes. The scene when we was at the recording studio and the police was always harassing us over at Audio Achievements. That was Donovan.
That was Donovan.
Jerry never was at the studio. When last time you seen Jerry at the studio? Jerry's too busy stealing money.
Yeah, he had a full-time job filling
Yeah,
money.
he wasn't never there to protect us from the police. That was Donovan. And Donovan's still my homeboy to this day. And me and Donovan says, yeah, I was there. He said that scene, police came and was trying to get ready to kill y'all. And I had to tell them, like, this is my spot. They just here, working on music. And yeah, it wasn't Jerry. But,
wow. It's the same thing I saw when I saw Jerry Heller in the movie carrying boxes. What the fuck? You don't carry no goddamn boxes? And, they didn't show that part where I'm the one that actually put them two together.
Yeah, and he didn't start wearing them sweatsuits until he thought he was cool later on.
Ah,
in the movie,
right.
they had him in a sweatsuit in the beginning, like in McCullough Walker.
Right, that's right. That's right.
He wore no damn sweatsuits like that.
He wore suits and he wore sports coats.
Yeah.
Okay, and that was the crazy part about when I first met Jerry Heller. Okay, Jerry Heller and his partner Maury Alexander. They had a company called Alexander Heller. Mm-hmm. It was a management company. And they would hang out around McCullough, and as artists would come through there, if anybody had any potential, they would try and sign them to their management company. And I already had a manager. I was the first one that had a manager, and I didn't really need them. And but I saw them doing good things for Egypt. I saw them doing decent things for some other people. And when he was always trying to court me to come to his management company, and I didn't really want to do it because I pretty much had it covered myself, and between me and my managers, we had it covered. But when I went to CBS, my former manager didn't want me to go to CBS. Said, man, you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that, And I could understand it. I had a little change myself. I wasn't balling, but I was okay. And but I couldn't tell the other three guys, hey, man, we ain't supposed to go to CBS. Man, I need my part of my $100,000. And when we got that deal, again, CBS came for us. We didn't go to them. We went to shop. There was something, hey, man, what y'all doing? Y'all over McCullough? Come over. We talk to y'all for a minute. And talked to my lawyer. He said, well, you don't need a manager. All he gonna do is send it to me. I'm gonna send it to the business affairs department. And after that, I'm gonna call you. See what you want to do, okay? And I'm gonna call him. He gonna call you. You can alleviate a phone call and save yourself $20,000 plus. You'll learn the business.